it's a complex story, obviously. And I was so intrigued at that point. I knew I was going to kind of fight hard for this one and really stick with it. And then I read for the role, I think in maybe May or June, shortly after I think I finished Source Code, actually, right after, and got the role. So I was so incredibly grateful because it was definitely something I wanted to be a part of, obviously, because of the significance of the story. I mean, it's a true story, and it's compelling, it's provocative, but also it's a woman that's really kind of right up my alley.
Yeah.
So and therefore was able to spend a lot of time with Lynn as well. This is a couple that I did spend a lot of time with, and Jerry will agree, and Sam will agree as well, that they have a real passion for each other. This couple loves each other through and through, and I think that is what really binds them. You know, they have, I think they basically, I think there's one scene that they were kind of disappointed in, and that was the scene in the Pinto. They were very adamant that they would have had that Pinto rocking, and that it wasn't rocking enough. So that kind of gives you some insight to who they are as a couple, and that they have a real sense of humor about them, which I thought is really cool because, listen, they really looked at evil in the eye, and they still do, but yet they still have a real sense of humor and love and passion for each other, and a great deal of appreciation. And I think Sam said to me maybe even yesterday, he just has never been more in love with her, and I think maybe, when you sort of see a movie like this and you see your life and you see how it's sort of interpreted, but I think it's meant a great deal for them to be sort of honored and appreciated this way in this film, to have their story be told. Luck would have it that he was there that weekend when I went to visit Lynn in Central City, and that was actually really invaluable because I was able to really be witness to their complicated relationship. And I was really able to understand the dynamics between the two of them, and really Lynn answered every question I posed her, and I asked her some pretty tough questions, and she was very forthcoming. I think that first night we stayed up until about 4 o'clock in the morning. Finally Sam went to bed at 2, and then that's kind of when we got to the nitty-gritty and I guess really to the heart of the matter. She's not an emotional person, and I say that with all due respect. She doesn't get angry, she doesn't get upset. She's very confident, and as a result of her faith. And that's not like me at all. I'm a very emotional person, and I'd say I'm kind of up here quite a bit. So it was probably the first time actually as an actor that I really ignored my instincts. My instincts wanted me to unleash and be angry and be upset, because that is probably what I would have done, what most women might do in that situation. But she's very grounded, so it was really, really important for me to convey that and be honest about that, because obviously she's a real person and I have a responsibility to her. And as I said, I respect her a great deal. So, and because of who she is, it was an entirely different performance to the one that I may have given had it not been her.
Was there a particular scene where you started to lash out because it was your natural instinct?
Yes, it was the scene in which he takes the money from the safe, and that scene really happened, that really happened, and that was a really hard one for me to reconcile. I remember that day, it was a really challenging scene for Jerry and I to do together. For Mark to direct, it was really just a great effort because it took everything in all of us to fight against what I think human nature is. And what's so powerful about her is her strength, and that is what's empowering. And so every time I had to kind of ground myself. And my mantra really was quiet giant, quiet giant, quiet giant. That's who I think she is through and through. Certainly, this has brought to light for me what is going on in Sudan, what continues to go on in Sudan. Admittedly, I did know a little bit. I didn't know enough. Certainly, I knew what I'd read. I knew the headlines, but I didn't actually understand the scope of it, the full magnitude. of what continues to go on. And once you familiarize yourself with the statistics, it's absolutely incomprehensible. I mean, truly, 60,000 kids being abducted, raped, tortured, the atrocities that are committed against all men, women, and children over there. It's scary, you know. And when you see a movie like this that humanizes it for people, I think that's what's so impactful. When I read it, it moved me. But when you see it, and when I see it with audiences, people are begging the questions: what can I do? How can I make a difference? And listen, you know, maybe it's not picking up a gun and going to Africa. Maybe it's just going on Angels of East Africa and donating $5, $10, $20, which, by the way, goes a hell of a long way in a place called Africa. Or maybe if you're just so compelled to maybe even look in your own backyard. You know, there are so many children all over this world, all over this city, all over the cities across America that need help, that need attention, that need mentoring. These children have so much hope. And I think that's what we need to remember. You know, these children still have a future in front of them. And, you know, with education and intervention and some people like Sam, and other great people and organizations that help out in Sudan and other parts of the world, you know, we can turn it around. So, you know, as down and depressing as it is, the statistics tell us, there's a great deal of hope as well. I'm very excited about an independent film that I shot this summer with Willem Dafoe and Stephen Dorff. It's called Boot Tracks. David Jacobson wrote, or he didn't write it, he adapted it from a book, but so I'm very excited about that. And then I did another little indie right after that with Rhoda Mitchell, kind of a drama / comedy, really well written, first time director once again. And I love indies, and I'm getting ready to shoot another independent film actually called Penthouse North, which is a psychological thriller with Michael Keaton, which I'm very excited about because I've been wanting to do a thriller for quite some time, and this one's really good.